morning, everybody. We're out here, sunny Fountain, Florida. Gonna look at the bars on Lieutenant Dan, see if we can't make a little bit of an adjustment so that we can get down some of these marginal non-braking tracks a little bit faster where he doesn't have pedal. Like his traction control is only gonna work to a certain point, and I don't want to have to rely on it. So we're gonna investigate a possible bar change, just kind of go over everything on the car from racing yesterday and all that stuff and get ready for it tonight. Because we got to defend that belt and race for that check tonight. We have a very good shot at winning this thing. Obviously, last night we ran one of the faster cars here and got the W on that. And James had to pedal about 4 or 5 times. So we're going to try and make some changes so that we can avoid that and go fast and get another W. How you feeling this morning, bud?
You know, we did our thing last night.
Yeah?
We planned to do that.
Yeah,
we executed it perfectly. We achieved the win. But I agree with you on that statement of we need to be able to just let the car drive itself.
Yeah.
So, see what we can do.
Yeah. I think the front suspension is fine. We need to do something in the back, and we got it up in the air. We'll look at a bar change. And it's one of those where I don't know whether it's going to like it one way or the other. Yeah. I know my car trying to extend it fast on not a good surface, it did not like it. This doesn't extend super fast, but if we can get it to kind of sit down and hunker down on the tire and then start to separate to keep it from wheeling, that should be good. But that'll be a combination of bars and then talking to David and then seeing about shock stuff. But
yeah, I think we got a really good handle on it.
I think we're getting there. I would like to have a better handle on it so that I know this will work here, this will work here. And
well, just in the 3 stabs we made out of last night, you know.
Yeah, we were able to get down pretty fast, but I want to be able to go out on the first or second one and be able to go, So
I agree.
That and getting a pro bracket on here will help too on some of the other tracks.
Yeah, I tried to get it, I couldn't find nothing in stock that I could get in time.
We'll try to get a set before LS Fest and then maybe go do some showtime testing.
I also have the 12 watts I can put the pro brackets on.
I'd rather just leave it in the trim. We're going to be racing it all the time.
Yeah, well, for the race in October, we can be on the pros, and it's at Bradenton, so.
Yeah, well, we can be on a pro, but I'm saying no need to, switch to a 12 wide. Can we run a 12 wide in this class?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we can put the pros on the
10 watts
brackets.
Only for the street style.
Okay, so we could put the pro brackets on the 12s and use those. Okay, that works.
Just swap the rims instead of tires.
All right, well, let's get under this thing, see what we got going on.
Do you want to compress on the suspension? Or do you want the suspension to make it a bar change?
Yeah, let it hang.
So just put on that bar.
Hold on. That.
Put it on that. The next bar up.
Where it's like on the car cage.
Oh, okay.
Got our bars adjusted, freed up the other bar. You guys remember last night's video, I talked about we had to move the rear end. The pinion angle was from doing that way out. So we made a little bit of a lower bar change to give it a little bit longer of an instant center. And then we went ahead and set the pinion angle. We're about 2.5 degrees on the pinion angle right now, which is way better. We were 10 plus, so it was horrible. So everything should work better. We're gonna set it down, check everything, make sure everything clears and everything looks good. Then we'll set the anti-roll bar, and then we should be good for some testing later tonight. All right, guys, got the car all situated. We ended up raising it a little bit in the back, so we got a little bit better wheel gap now than we had before because the driver's side was actually sitting on the fender. So ride height is good, even now. We went ahead and added 50 pounds to the back. Made our bar adjustments, reset anti-roll bar. Pinion angle looks good. So Time to sit around and wait. I don't believe Thursday's gonna be here opening the gates until about 5 or 6. We got a long time. Got some lunch on the grill, some burgers and hot dogs, so we'll see y'all when the sun goes down. Well, we just got some very unfortunate news. Apparently, they are not able to fix the timing system, which if you watched the last video, you know that we were running on a flashlight start. But I guess we tried to fix it, are unable to fix it, and have canceled the race. So we're gonna pack up and I guess we're gonna go home and find somewhere else to race.
They must have seen that Top Man video. They won't give me the money today.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, not the promoter. We like doing these races.
Yeah.
Track just has some issues and they gotta get resolved. We'll go race somewhere else. I don't know if any spots racing today.
I wish there was somewhere between there and home that was racing. We roll up and unload.
Yeah, we made all those changes. We'd like to be able to test them, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, we get to pack up and head 5 hours back south.
6 for me.
6 for him. I'm an hour north, so. Well, we'll give you some other good content in this video. Don't know what it is yet, but you'll see it when you see it. All right, guys, we have made it back to the shop. So unfortunately, we did not get to finish that race or race at all the second day. They'll reschedule. We'll do another race, but unfortunately, the timing system at the track was not working, so we did not get to make any hits. But back here, working on the old Burnout truck motor, went ahead and installed a set of Holley's Terminator 220-pound injectors, because this thing is going to be on alcohol. And I also have gotten one of their 2x4 4150 linkage kits. So we're going to go ahead and put that together, see if we can't figure out a way to make these throttle bodies work in unison. And I know this is going to be a little bit different because it's not designed for an LS motor, so we're going to have to get a little bit custom with it, but let's take it apart, see what kind of pieces we can use to get these things working, come up with a bracket if we need to. Guys, so as I was saying earlier in the video, we didn't get to make the runs in James' car. However, we got a Burnout truck to build, so we had dropped it off last week before we went to the race to a place that's going to make it look a whole lot cooler. I have not seen it yet. I kind of know the design of the wrap we were going to do. We may have also changed the name on you, but I want to get in there and check this thing out. So we're at Project Prime. We're going to head on in there. I have not seen it yet, and we're going to check this thing out. Dang.
I don't want to show them yet.
Bro. Come on, man. Dude, that looks sick.
You didn't even look at it. You just seen the front end. Walk on the whole thing.
I didn't know, man.
Dude, the detail.
Dude,
it's really there.
You guys killed it.
Thanks, guys. Anytime. We love this stuff.
Boom.
It was worth the wait.
Check me out, check me out. I'm a pilot now, even though I'm afraid of heights. All right, so we did change the name on you guys. Alright guys, they absolutely crushed this. I was almost at a loss for words like looking at this thing. it's not often that I have something in my head and I can't get it out, and they did absolutely that. They literally nailed it. And I did change the name. So instead of Black Betty, I heard the song and I was like, that's the name. Mississippi Queen is what we're going to call this thing. If you've never heard the song, then you need to go listen to Mississippi Queen and it'll all make sense. But they absolutely crushed it. I'm beyond happy with the way it turned out. I can't wait to get this thing back to the shop, get the motor in it, get them headers on it, and start putting some fire in them pipes. So we're gonna get this thing loaded up on the trailer and get it back to the shop and get working on it as fast as we can. Alright guys, we have old Mississippi Queen in the shop. We're gonna get the mock-up motor out, get that beautiful 4-way stroker that's behind you into this rig, start wiring, get the transmission in, and start putting this thing together. So I'm gonna get this thing out, get the motor in, and then we're gonna make a list of everything that needs to be done. That way we can start knocking things out. We were gonna plan on welding a bar in between here to hold the coils, but before we just go ahead and do that, we're gonna do it without the motor in. I'm gonna set this one down where it's supposed to go, make sure nothing's gonna interfere with that before we do that. So motor's gonna be set in, we'll probably pull it back out, get that done, then put the motor in.
I missed the whole section. Got it. Where'd it go? Got it.
How are we looking on this side, Doug?
Pretty good. Oh, need to go back this way. Right there.
Okay, go down. Good.
Yeah.
We can get the bolts in.
Yeah, you just have to line the holes up some.
All right, guys, got the headers in. Had to open up the holes a little bit. We're gonna have to make some trim rings for the exhaust, just so it looks prettier because it was cut nice and everything. But trying to put them in. I wanted to put the headers in before I dropped the motor in, and then everything kind of going on. I did not get a chance to, but we gave everything in here, fresh coat of paint. Motor is in, bolted in, headers are in, bolted in, sealed up. I got run by the hardware store. I don't even think they're open tomorrow, but I need a couple intake bolts. The ones, I didn't get the studs, they didn't come with it. So I have to get some bolts, but the ones that I got are too long. So, probably be a good stopping point to make myself a list. That way I can mark down everything that needs to be done and just go through everything. But I wanted to at least get the motor bolted in, get the headers bolted in, and then we can start kind of working around everything, which, as you can see, it is done. We also got the cowling cut, so I've got to do a little bit of cleaning up on that still. And I need, before I put the intake on, I'm going to need 2 little fittings to go in the back of the intake to plug 2 holes and those bolts. And then we put the intake on. I was just going through making sure everything up here was tight before we do drop the intake on. And then, yeah, need to make a list. That's priority number 1 right now. That way I don't forget and we can go in order. Alrighty, here is our huge list of things that we have to get done. So we got a lot of stuff to do. It is Saturday. We gotta leave Thursday, so not a lot of time to get stuff done. But today I'm gonna go ahead and start by getting the transmission in. So I'm going to get the converter into the transmission, some fluid in the converter, get the transmission in the truck, and that'll kind of start the ball rolling. We got to get a couple small things, but I have most of the parts here. So motor's in, motor's bolted down. I need to get the transmission and converter in, and I can get the drive shaft in, and then I'll feel a little bit better knowing that I have a full drivetrain in the truck, and then we can start wiring, plumbing, doing the rest of the stuff. I already have the fuel lines ran all the way from the back to the front, so that's a big step. Most of the wiring under the dash is done. I got to make a couple pin swaps for the Holly, because that was for harnesses for a 24X. This is a 58X, so I got to swap a couple wires around. Coil extension harnesses got to be done, and not a lot of stuff just to make it run, but there is a lot of wiring stuff as far as fans, water pump, power steering pump, just a bunch of little stuff. So let's get this transmission in. Hopefully the Crossmember everything bolts up, because all that stuff came out of my white truck. I had the exact same thing, 408 Power Glide with a stock case and the same exact center section. So fingers crossed everything works and the drive shaft is perfect, and we do not have to get a drive shaft made, because that will put a real big dampener on things. All right, guys, we got the transmission up in the truck. First problem, this year truck has a different frame than that year truck. So our Crossmember, which is right there, that was built for a Power Glide, does not fit. The frame rails are actually wider here. So this actually came in the bed of the truck. It was for a 4L80, but what we did was flipped it around, and it seems to fit okay. The only thing we'll have to do is take this plate off and move it over. So it's offset right now. If we just took that plate and moved it over, we'll end up doing another plate, but this bar will work where it's at. It's not touching the trans. It's close to it, but it's not touching it. So it should be fine where it's at. Otherwise, we'll have to make a whole nother Crossmember, which I don't think we need to do. But we can just cut this plate off. We already got the tube here. We'll just slide it over, and we should be good to go. Good news, guys. The drive shaft fits. So the drive shaft out of that truck, what's left of a truck over there, works. So this is fully extended. It's not going to hit. The only thing, we'll have to set it down. It shouldn't hit there. Didn't hit in the other truck, and it was way lower, but this is different. The chassis is different, so we're going to have to check it and make sure it doesn't hit. Motor's solid mounted, so the transmission's bolted to it. It ain't going nowhere right now. We will have to get that Crossmember situated. Don't think it'll be that big of a deal. We need to get a mount. So we're going to run down the street. We'll get a transmission mount. I need to get some U-joint straps to the rear end. And anything else, I'm going to check the list and make sure I don't need anything else. But I'd like to get stuff under the truck done so that we can work on it underneath. What? All right, guys, our list is getting smaller. I got a lot of stuff done. We got trans is full, engine's full of oil. Got our spark plug wires, which we actually stole like 7 of them from Moonshine because they actually fit. And we're going to be doing a different style coil on Moonshine when it comes back out. We're going to end up with a CDI 600 from Holly. So we're not going to end up using those. Anyway, so I'll use the fresh set. But we're going to be using a CDI 600 on Moonshine, so I already have all the stuff for that. So we'll have spare wires if we need to make one. Then I have stuff to make them. But they all fit. Everything looks good. We got to get a tool because of where we put our Crossmember for our coils. Dummy me didn't pay attention, and we can't get a socket on the crank. So I'm either going to cut that bar or get a flywheel tool if I can find one. I don't actually have one, so if I can find one, we'll just use that. But I may just end up cutting that Crossmember because it's only holding the coils, and then we can just cap it on either end and we'll be good. But it looks super clean, came out nice. Coils just mounted down there. 90-degree boots. I started laying the harness on. I have to get a cam extension or extend it myself. We got to do the coils still. We got a lot of stuff we still got to do, but we got a lot done. So I'm kind of at a standstill where I need to get some stuff from the hardware store, and they're closed, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow morning. But we're gonna start wiring tomorrow morning. I'll probably get the Crossmember out under the trans, cut that, get that moved over. That way we can weld it back, get that all done. But other than that, pretty much everything under the car, pretty much everything under the truck is done, other than the Crossmember. We'll have to wire in the trans cooler fan, and that's pretty much it for underneath. Nut and bolt it when we're getting ready to go, but we got brake lines to do and just button up everything on the motor itself. All right, guys, we got pretty much everything done up here. Got a couple of small things left with the fuel system, a little bit of wiring stuff. You kind of see it's everywhere right now, but we have to clean everything up. This stuff we'll probably have to clean up when we get back. I want to rewire some of that stuff just because the way the harness laid out. It was actually an F-body harness. It was actually an F-body harness that I had sitting here in stock. So got a lot of stuff going on. A bunch of wiring stuff, but we're almost done getting everything wired. Got to bolt down our fuel cell. TJ got the mounts done for that. So we just got to rib nut the bed, bolt that down, hook up the wires, and then got to get our shifter mount just finished up a little bit. That's going to go right there in the middle. Got our motion operator shifter. I got our trans brake wired in, nitrous switch is wired in. It's kind of a low priority for me. I'm not necessarily needing the nitrous for this. I want it on there, but it's not a necessity on the list. But we're gonna get this thing buttoned up tonight, and then you'll have to come back and see the next video us fire this thing up. We probably got another solid day's worth of work. Unfortunately, we have a hurricane coming that's supposed to be here in the next day or two also, so fingers crossed it's not as bad as they're saying it's going to be. We can get this knocked out and head up to Bristol. But that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, stay tuned and we'll see you in the next episode.